An avid Donald Trump supporter living in Long Island no longer supports the president because of her tax bill. So you guys know that, it's tax time. People are filing their taxes. And there have been a lot of people that have been complaining about their returns. Their returns have been less than a lot of other previous years. And some people have had to pay in. Now, this woman is named Beth Killory. And she told the Huffington Post that she originally welcomed the tax cuts because it was an extra $90 in her paycheck. Well, look at that. Hey, it's an extra $90. Wonderful, right? In fact, she said, I thought, wow, Trump is great. I love him. He got me more money. Okay. Now, the thing is, though, she went to file taxes. And like a lot of other Trump supporters and non-Trump supporters, she found out that she actually owed more in federal taxes. How much more? About 5 times the amount she paid in previous years. She said she owed $5,000. Now, her response to that was, I almost fell out of my chair. I could not believe it. I voted for Trump. I thought he was going to be good for the country. But when I got that phone call from her tax preparer, that's it. I'm done. Ouch. Again, this is not a shock, right? We have been hearing from a lot of Trump supporters or former Trump supporters on this tax issue that, well, he said it was going to be a middle-class tax cut. But it turns out I'm actually paying more in taxes than I did last year. Well, interestingly enough, the rich, the wealthiest Americans are actually paying far less while I'm paying more. Well, golly gee, if that's not a surprise, it's not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. We warned you about this stuff. We warned you, we told you, and you called us libtards that are spreading fake news. Well, there are a lot of people that are having their taxes go up, and mostly it's happening on the coasts. Now, according to HuffPost, there were 2 reasons Killory is seeing an increase. One is that the law directly disadvantaged her, this is according to HuffPost, by limiting deductions for state and local taxes, right? So now she lives in Long Island, which means that's in New York. It's a high tax state. And so she ended up actually paying extra. Well, how much extra? About $1,000 to her bill. So that's a $1,000 increase on just that itself. Well, where's the extra $4,000 coming from? Well, it turns out that her employer had withheld too little from her paycheck. The extra $90 she received, they explain, should have been added to the amount that gets automatically put away to cover federal income taxes. Like most people, however, Killory did not fill out a worksheet and submit a new Form W-4 to her employer at the beginning of last year. So, you did not adjust your withholdings. Well, that was not in the agreement. That was not being sold in the tax cuts. When Republicans were out there saying, this is going to be fantastic tax reform, the middle class is going to save so much money, as long as you, actually adjust your withholdings for the year and actually have the federal government hold in more of your money, smaller paychecks, but you actually get a refund later. That was not in the fine print. Okay, that was not something that people were told about. So a lot of people had no idea that they were supposed to adjust their withholdings. So that leads to situations like this. And look, the whole time, Republicans were bragging about having that extra money in their paycheck, right? People having extra money. In fact, again, that $90 extra in your paycheck, well, that's significant. But it turns out that she ended up having to pay into taxes at the end of the year for having bigger paychecks. It's kind of how it works. But she didn't know that. She didn't know that. In fact, Killory said, quote, I thought because I was getting that extra $90 in her paycheck every week, she thought she was entitled to it. Well, and that's the scam. And that's how they get you. They sell you on this idea, when in reality, most of the tax cuts, the benefit of these tax cuts, went to the wealthy, went to the top 1%, and went to corporations. That's who really benefited in this bill. Yes, there is a small tax cut, right? And if you adjust your withholding, sometimes you actually end up paying a little bit less or getting slightly more of a return, and it really depends on your deductions, right? But as far as deductions go, I've detailed in recent videos or previous videos where there are deductions and loopholes that were closed for the middle class, but left wide and gaping open for the rich. And that's, again, part of the scam. They say, oh, don't worry about it. The rich will actually still pay more. We're just going to lower their rate, but we're going to close all the loopholes for the wealthy. They closed no loopholes for the wealthy. They were asked about that. Nobody could answer what loopholes they were closing for the wealthy, but they sure closed a lot of loopholes for regular people. That state and local tax deduction is one of the biggest. They closed that. They're not allowing you to do that, and that's why so many people on the coast are being screwed and seeing their taxes go up. So now, Republicans, as I said before, they closed your loopholes, not the ones for the rich. And this was by design. It's not an accident. And the reason that I say that is, look, they went after people in the coasts as a way to punish voters in blue states with higher taxes. They forget that there are people in these states that actually vote for conservatives. They vote for Republicans. So, sad day for you guys, you conservatives who live in California, or you conservatives that live in New York or New Jersey. Sad day for you. And they do that, and then they take the extra money and they allow it to be funneled to the wealthy and into corporations. So the frustration that people are feeling, these Trump supporters, is absolutely real. Now, you can call all manner of things that you hear fake news, but when you look at your tax bill, when you look at your paycheck, that's real. That's real. And so people know what's real in that case. And in this case, they know who to blame, and it's Republicans. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.